Welcome to Low-Key PD. In this video, we're going to explore how to use Google Forms for quizzes and assessments. So when we open a Google form, if we want to use it for a quiz or even a test, it's called quizzes, doesn't have to just be a quiz, and you want to turn it into a formal assessment, click on Settings, and then the first option is to make this a quiz. If you toggle that switch on, you're going to get a bunch of other options. When would you like grades released? Immediately after each submission or later after manual review? Are you interested in using a locked browser mode? Do you want respondents to be able to see which questions were answered incorrectly? Do you want them to be able to see which questions were answered correctly? Do you want students to know how much each question is worth? And what is the default point question or point value for each question? So you have a bunch of those different options, and you can set those to whatever suits you. But once you turn on making a quiz, when you go back to edit your quiz questions, they will look a little bit different. Notice now that under each question is a little blue link called Answer Key. All right, so for this question just asks for the student's first name. If I click on Answer Key, I don't want to add a correct answer here because their name is their name and they just need to enter it. It's not actually a quiz question, but I might not want this to be worth any points, so I'm going to click that down to 0. All right, likewise, I'm going to do the same thing with last name. So if I click on that, click on Answer Key, I'm going to make that 0. They're not getting points for their name. And then the actual questions on the quiz or test or assessment, once it's in quiz mode, you have a number of different options for how the quiz will behave when students enter responses. If I click on Answer Key for this question, this is an actual question. Right? The question is, what is the capital of Indiana? So depending on how much I want students to get this exactly right, I can type in Indianapolis, which of course is the correct answer. Do I want to allow it if they spell Indianapolis but they forget to capitalize the first I? All right, if I don't want to accept that answer and I want to mark it wrong, I can just leave the correct spelling with the correct capitalization as the correct answer and mark all others incorrect. And I can also add feedback. If I click on Add Answer Feedback, I can type in a message depending on what I want to communicate to students who may answer that question incorrectly. So I can type in something. Did you capitalize correctly? I can save that, but notice I can also add a link to an outside resource or even a YouTube video that may explain how to answer the question correctly. Now, on a question like what's the capital of Indiana, probably not a lot going on there. Don't really have to add too many resources, but I can save that, and for all the other questions, you have other options. All right, so question 2 is a long paragraph answer. If I click on Answer Key, not a whole lot to add here. It's a paragraph question. People are going to type in different things, and they may all be correct, but you can change the point values for this. So if it's a longer thought-provoking question where they have to write, maybe you make it worth 5 points. Maybe there is no answer feedback. Multiple choice, click on Answer Key. Which one of these cities is not? Which one of these cities is the capital of New York? That is Albany, so I can select the correct answer. Students won't see that, but now the Google form knows that that's what I intend to be the correct answer, so it can score it correctly. Again, we can add answer feedback. Notice with multiple choice questions, I have the option. I can add feedback for incorrect answers, and I have a separate option for adding feedback for correct answers. So I can set that any which way I want. For a checkbox question, click on Answer Key. Which of these describe Indiana? It's this one, and I think this one. Usually for a checkbox question, since they have to make a decision about each of the options, I generally make these questions worth the same amount as the number of choices because the student has to make a decision about every single choice. It's not quite like a multiple choice question where they make a decision about which one is best and then ignore the other ones. All of these could be true as far as the student knows, but not all of them are. So they have to make a decision about each one of the options. You don't have to do that. You can just make it worth 2 points since there's 2 correct selections here, or you can still make it worth 1 point. That is up to you. This is a drop-down question. It's basically a multiple choice question. It'll work in the same way. I just choose which one of these universities is not in the state of Indiana. It's that one. Done. Multiple choice grid. Click on answer key, fill it in so it knows which one's right. You can adjust the point values per row if you want to. Checkbox grid. If I click on that and click on answer key, I fill it in with what is the correct answer. The form will check that against what the student submits, and again, you can change the number of points per row. And then this is interesting. I didn't know this because I generally don't ask these types of questions, but for date questions, if you click on answer key, you can't enter a correct date. Right? So even though the question is on what date did Indiana become a state, like that's a specific answer. There's only one date for which that is true. But when I click on answer key, I can't add that date. So I can't use this question style the way I might want to. I can add feedback. I just can't answer, and just can't enter an actual correct date. And then likewise with time questions. The option for clicking on the answer key is still there, but you can't add a specific time to count as the correct answer, which I think is kind of interesting. I'm not sure why they do it that way. But when you turn a quiz, or when you turn a Google form into a quiz or test, you can automatically grade most of these question types. There might be some you still have to score by hand, but if there's only a few you have to score by hand versus scoring all of them by hand, you are going to save yourself a bunch of time. It is a very powerful tool to take advantage of. You can get the information you need a lot faster. The students can get their feedback a lot faster. And this will save you time. And let's be honest, any opportunity teachers can find to save time, their own time, is probably worth looking into. And I think this is a good example of a way to do that.